Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Friday, May 16th, 2025. Recent fire activity is shown on this map with the dots in pink showing ongoing prescribed fires and dots in yellow indicating where we've seen wildfire activity recently, mainly over northern Utah with some of the gustier and dry conditions we saw earlier in the work week. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here on the left. We did have some precip with recent storms moving through over the northern portions of the area in the last week, northeast Utah, northeast Nevada, and northwest Utah as well. And then if we look at the past 14 days, a dry signal across the northern two-thirds of the area, but an above normal signal over far southern Utah and southern Nevada with a wet storm last week. This morning's satellite imagery does show some cloud cover in place today. Today's kind of a transition day as we look to a changing weather pattern this weekend with a pretty strong trough of low pressure moving into the Great Basin, bringing cooler temperatures and precipitation. Really starting today up north and then tomorrow further south. Okay, again for today, kind of that transition day, we have some cloud cover in place and some precipitation moving into the north later today. Ventilation rates are generally high everywhere. Transport winds are on the lighter side for the most part, but we do have some gustier winds over eastern Idaho into western Wyoming and portions of eastern Utah. And mixing heights are elevated, especially over the south and southeast. On Saturday, that trough quickly develops over the Pacific Northwest and starts to move into the Great Basin, northern Great Basin, bringing some precipitation to the northern and western parts of the area and some gusty winds out ahead of it to the central Great Basin as well. Ventilation rates are pretty high tomorrow, especially over Nevada and central and southern Utah. So again, transport winds really pick up on Saturday ahead of that trough with gusty winds over much of Nevada and into western and central Utah. Gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour are expected. Mixing heights remain high, especially over the southern and southeast portions of the area. On Sunday, the main low will move through, bringing cooler temperatures area-wide and precipitation down into the central and moving into the southern parts of the Great Basin. Ventilation rates are high area-wide on Sunday. Strong winds will accompany this low pressure. By Sunday, most of the winds are going to be out of the west to northwest behind the cold front, ushering in cooler temperatures area-wide. And mixing heights are going to be elevated as well, especially over Nevada and Utah, a little bit lower over Idaho. Looking at our temperature trends, we're on a bit of a roller coaster again with these spring-like transitions. So Friday, we've got highs mainly in the 60s, a little bit warmer further south. By Sunday, we're dipping down into the 50s for the most part, so definitely a cooler storm for this time of year. And then by Tuesday, we quickly rebound back up to the upper 60s and low 70s with more warming headed towards our way. The 3-day precipitation totals do show that precipitation moving through much of the Great Basin. This takes us through early Monday. Again, precipitation coming to the central Idaho mountains, western Wyoming, and the higher elevations of Utah for the most part. So pretty good late spring storm expected area-wide. Clearing index values are high for Utah for the next 3 days. On Monday, that low exits the area, but we will continue to see some storminess mainly in the eastern half of Utah on Monday and across the south there, with dryness moving in further to the west. Ventilation rates are high on Monday. On Tuesday, we start to build high pressure into the Great Basin. Our ventilation rates are going to be decreasing through the work week. And then Wednesday, continued dryness and warming area-wide. There's a little trough moving to the Pacific Northwest, which may keep some breezy winds in place up there, but otherwise warming across the area. And then continued warming and drying into Thursday, area-wide. Some ventilation rates, kind of a mixed bag. Some areas are going to be higher, and some areas will see some decreasing values moving in Utah. Precipitation for days 4 and 5 is shown here. This is Monday and Tuesday. Again, looking for some of that precipitation to continue across southern Utah on Monday before clearing out. And then as we head into the second half of the work week, days 6 and 7, Thursday and Friday here, looking for basically no precipitation. And then the extended forecast taking us into the end of May calls for above normal temperatures region-wide and below normal chances for precipitation. So again, looking for a bit of a longer duration dry pattern to set into the Great Basin. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back on Monday for the latest updates.